Not from an ego point of view, although of course as a United States Senator, by definition I have a big ego. That's part of the job. But more importantly, without the very good victory that we won here in New Hampshire, we would not have had the energy and the momentum to carry us through 50 states and continue to raise the issue. So thank you, New Hampshire. Pick up, if I might, on the points that both Elizabeth and Catherine made. And the most important point, and I'm very grateful for all the nice things you've said about me, but at the end of the day, it's not me that matters. It is about bringing millions of people together to stand up and fight for economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That's what it's about. And that is what you are doing right now, and that's what rights and democracy is about. When I talk throughout the campaign about the need for a political revolution, the need to bring millions of people together, this is exactly what I am talking about, what rights and democracy is doing. And let me also be clear, this is not easy stuff. And politics does not mean that you're going to win every victory tomorrow. And I personally get tired of people saying, you know, I'm burned out. I tried and I didn't change the world yesterday. Went to a demonstration, didn't change the world. I'm giving up. And I want to take you very briefly back to something that I know everybody here knows. And that is real change never comes easily by definition. If the change is real, it means real struggle. And I know you all know that, but just take a brief journey through American history. Remember the struggles of working people. Remember, not so many years ago, children of 12 or 13 were losing their hands in factories or were working in farms rather than being in schools. Remember that workers had to fight and die to form trade unions so they can get decent wages and decent working conditions. That was a struggle involving millions of people, which helped create the American middle class. All of you know the struggles of the civil rights movement going way, way back, way earlier than Martin Luther King Jr. and the modern civil rights movement, of people who stood up and were killed and were lynched and were beaten and were jailed for demanding that in this country we have racial justice and that we end racism. Think about that struggle that went on and is still going on today. Think about the women's movement, and the children don't know this. 100 years ago today in America, women did not have the right to vote, did not have the right to get the jobs or the education they wanted. 100 years ago, no time at all. But women stood up by the millions with their male allies and said that in America, women will not be second-class citizens. Now, I am old enough, and thank you for reminding me how old I am, but I'm old enough to remember that most gay people did not acknowledge 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that in fact they were gay. And that radical transformation of society, where people stood up and said, you know what, we have a right to live our lives the way we want. We have a right to marry whomever we want, regardless of gender. Anyone here thinks that took place over